Can't decide and torn between a romantic, comedy, action, or an indie film to watch for the weekend? Well. Golden State Media Concepts Movie Podcast is your ultimate guide to the latest movies. Join us as we dissect the latest on the blockbusters. It's the Golden State Media Concepts Movie Podcast.
Hello, and welcome to GSMC Movie Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. That was Keith, your host, screaming, and this is me, Cynthia.
Screaming.
I'm also, I may be sounding like I'm screaming because of this microphone I'm using.
We are using an alternative setup to ensure that we are social distancing properly. I laid on the ground, and I'm 6'4", so I laid on the ground, and our producer put some tape on where my feet were and where my head was, and Cynthia is exactly a Keith distance away. So you're 6 feet and 4 inches.
And that extra
probably
4 inches.
Probably 6'5" in the boots that I'm wearing, honestly.
The extra 4 inches helps a little bit.
Absolutely, yes.
No, but if I do sound like
crunchy.
Crunchy. That's a good word. Crunchy. I sound different from like the typical or the previous episodes. It's because I'm using a different microphone. It's like a mini microphone. So,
¿Cómo se dice different microphone en español?
Diferente micrófono.
Diferente micrófono. All right.
I had to think about that. I was like, hold on. I haven't said microphone in like a long time.
¿Cómo se dice alternative microphone en español?
Alternative micrófono alternativa.
Alternativa. That's a fun one. I like that better.
Alternativa.
Yeah.
I don't know. You're making me think a little bit. I'm like, you're making me use words I haven't used in a while in Spanish.
Yeah, I feel like if I learned Spanish, I would use a lot of very like formal words, just because the
native is very different from like what they teach in schools.
Well, not just that, but the words that I would want to know how to use are going to be way different than what like. I don't know, because my vernacular in English is pretty expansive, so I use a lot of multisyllabic words. I'm not trying to brag. This is just fact. And so if I were to learn a foreign language, I would probably use a lot of weird words because I'd be like, oh, I want to say this sentence in Spanish, and I would say it, and you'd be like, that makes no sense. Well, what do you want to do with a llama?
Right, yeah. Well, I think that's with foreign languages, because I took like a Spanish course in high school, even though I already knew Spanish, but I took it to get an easy A. And I actually didn't.
I can't believe you.
But I didn't get an A because the teacher that I was learning from, she's from like, her Spanish is different from like the Mexican Spanish, different dialects. So it's way different. Like she was mixing European Spanish, like from Spain, with she was actually from a country in Africa, but. Yeah, so she was very multicultural. Multicultural. So it was actually hard. And I noticed that the way she teaches it, it's very proper. And like there are other students in there who are like me, who are also Spanish speaking. And we're like, wait, we were confused because we're like, native speakers don't actually speak like this, So
yeah.
And I'm sure that's like with other languages. I've heard too that like French as well. Like my sister took French, and there was someone in her class who was actually from France, and they also said like we don't speak like this. So I think in schools they just teach you like the very proper way, and I think the best way to learn a language is to like submerge yourself in the culture.
Oh, of course.
But yeah, this isn't a language podcast or a language podcast. What are we here again for? Movies.
Yeah, in our last podcast we spent the first 5 minutes talking about food.
Right.
So we shouldn't talk about that. But yeah, so how's your week been, by the way?
It's been all right. I mean, you heard when we came in, I had to go to urgent care.
Yes.
That wasn't fun.
And you are clear you do not have the coronavirus.
No, not at all. But I had a panic attack. That's what it was.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
From the virus. Because I already had an anxiety prior to the virus, but the virus triggered it. And like a lot of people, you're anxious because you don't know you're a carrier. I mean, especially who you live with. You just like, don't want to pass it on. So there's a lot of and then also being anxious because a lot of people are unemployed. Just a lot of things. I'm sure a lot of people who are listening are going through the same thing. So that's actually initially what I went through. But I was worried because my first symptoms were I felt tightness in my chest and I couldn't breathe. Yeah. But then my entire arm went numb. Like I couldn't move it at all. So that's what freaked me out. Yeah. So I was like, well, I don't think that's a symptom from the virus. So that was kind of a relief. But I was also like, what the heck is going on? Because I like couldn't move at all. So
well, there have been people in my life who have had like those exact symptoms because of anxiety. Mm-hmm. So
yeah. So it was I've never had a panic attack before. So that was my first one. And
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, but I'm okay. I mean, I'm here. I'm virus free, so that's
You're virus free, as am I, to my knowledge.
Yeah, but other than that, it's been a pretty boring week for me. Besides, that happened on Sunday, so everything else has been, chill. Been engaging in many movies. Yeah, lots of TV shows. I've actually been watching more TV shows on Netflix rather than movies.
Oh, okay.
Right now, I'm watching Ozark.
I heard good things about that, I think.
Yeah. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny. I recommend Ozark. I'm in the first season. I think there's like 2 or 3. But yeah, I like it so far. How about you?
Good. My week has been, decent. Just trying to get through.
Everybody.
Yeah, exactly. Not too much has changed for me since I was already working remotely anyway. So as far as my like regular 9-to-5 job goes, I'm still good. I'm a worship pastor at a church, so like we're still doing church. It's just online. So like don't tell anyone this. We're gonna film church on Saturday this week instead of on Sunday. So we're gonna release it on Sunday, but we're filming it on Saturday.
So you guys are gathering on Saturday?
Well, no, we're not gathering. It's myself and the pastor and the rest of the band. So it'll be 5 people total.
Okay, you're not maxing out to 10.
No, of course not. No, actually, it may even be less than 5. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, I think it's only 4. Yeah, so there's only 4 of us. So
that's good.
Yeah, and we totally maintain healthy social distancing. Totally.
A llama away. Is that what it says?
Yeah, it's a llama away. Yeah, a grown llama away.
A grown llama.
Or a grown Keith away.
Yeah.
Because I'm a grown man.
Really, you guys. He's 6'4", in case this is your first time listening to the episode.
Yes. And, okay, I have a quick question. Does my voice match what I look like? I've always wondered. Okay.
Yeah.
I've just always been curious.
For sure.
Yeah. Also, okay, so someone mentioned earlier that I would go to a Taco Bell all-you-can-eat burrito bar. Do I look like I would go to a Taco Bell all-you-can-eat burrito bar?
No, I think it's just because you're tall. Okay, like you're a big guy, and big in the sense of height.
I love how you're tiptoeing around this. No, it's fine. Look,
no,
I weigh 270 pounds. I get it. Like, I understand.
You're 6'4". That's normal. I mean, my boyfriend, he's 6'2"-ish, around there. He's like 240.
Yeah, but he probably works out a lot more than I do.
Yeah, he works out. But I think that's normal. Like,
I guess.
Yeah. I wish they could like see us. So like they know like
the size differential is hilarious.
Right. Like compared
Cynthia, you're what, like 5'2". Yeah.
5'2".
So
I know.
Yeah. Sometimes it's really funny, and like I imagine if everybody in the world was your size, like people would look at me much like I was much more of a freak.
But you are pretty tall.
Relatively, I guess.
I think it's also your voice.
Yeah.
Because you have a very, strong presence with your voice, I think. So, which is not a bad thing. Like, I think your voice matches your height and everything. I did find out when I went to urgent care, I'm 122 pounds. I haven't weighed myself in like a year. So I was like, oh.
That means you've been working hard in the gym, right? That's a good thing.
Yeah, I've actually lost weight. So I was kind of like, because, I'm not working out, so I'm not hungry. So I actually lost a little bit of weight. And I'm like, trying to gain my muscle back. I know it's like muscle I'm losing, so.
Yeah, it's funny. When I stopped going to the gym, I was telling people, I'm going to weigh like 5 to 10 pounds less. They're like, you're going to stop going to the gym and weigh less? How does that make sense? And I was like, muscle weighs way more than fat.
Yeah. So that's the first thing you'll lose. So I was like, no. I was actually kind of upset. That was okay. We're okay, you guys. You guys didn't hear anything. Have you heard another crunch? Nothing happened.
Nothing happened.
No.
Absolutely. Okay, so before we fill all of this space with our talking about things that have nothing to do with movies, we should talk about the movie that we're talking about this week, or at least the first one. We've got a bunch of movies to talk about this week. I don't know how this
Quaren-cuddle movies.
Quaren-cuddle. Okay, can you just tell them that was my idea, please?
That was your.
I was super excited about it. I was like, this is better than Netflix and chill. Quaren-cuddle.
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 The people who are long distance can't Quaren-cuddle.
I know, you and your boyfriend, because your boyfriend's in San Jose.
Yeah, so 2 hours away from where I'm at. So
yeah, and they're on an even more strict lockdown than we are.
They are. Yeah, so. He can't do anything.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, we can't Quaren-cuddle, but I mean, if you live with your significant other,
you could Netflix party.
We can't. Oh yeah, you can actually. They just did release that.
And I have a recommendation: hot chocolate with wine. You just Google
hot chocolate and wine.
Yeah, you cook. You make hot chocolate and then you pour wine into it and you stir it up, and the wine. You have to pick the right wine, but the wine taste goes away and you just get this really warm. Oh, it's so nice. You should try it.
Huh.
Y'all, both of you should make it and then drink it together while you're on your little
Netflix
webcam
party.
chat, Netflix party. And he can sit on the couch and put the camera where you would normally be and put his arm around it.
Right, like that.
It'll be super sweet. Yeah.
There we go. We might need to do that. Hot chocolate and wine. I'm actually gonna look into. I'm gonna look first what wines pair best.
Yes.
Because I'm not going to get...
I think a Zin or a blend is probably going to be best.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Because you don't want anything dry. Anything dry is going to... Anyway. Mm-hmm. So the first movie that we're talking about this week...
I know, right? What did we do?
Snowpiercer.
This
was one that I watched over the weekend on Sunday night, actually. I really enjoyed it.
It's on Netflix.
It is on Netflix.
And... it is also produced and directed by the same person who produced and directed the Academy Award winning film Parasite, Bong Joon-ho. So he also produced this movie.
Yes, he directed this movie as well. Yeah, yeah. And I will give you the synopsis right after a quick commercial break.
Want to know the latest and hottest music hitting the airwaves? Don't be left out. Listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Music Podcast. Keith keeps you on the loop with everything you need to know from pop, rock, hip-hop, and the top 40. And we'll throw in news of your favorite artists, concert and tour dates, and so much more. Listen no further, because this is the gold standard in music podcast.
Hey guys, and welcome back to GSMC Movie Podcast. So right before the break, we announced the very first movie that we'll be talking about and that we recommend for Quaren-cuddle.
I wouldn't call this a Quaren-cuddle movie, but I'm recommending it.
I still watch action flicks and cuddle.
Well, and the movie that you picked, I was like, you want to cuddle while you watch that?
No, okay, so my movie picks, they're literally just... Well, because I'm not cuddling, so it's just me by myself. So I just wrote down movies that I've watched within the past week.
Oh, okay.
During this quarantine time.
That's fair. That's fair. You could Quaren-cuddle for Snowpiercer, but I wouldn't do it for a first date.
Oh, first date, no.
No.
But have you been with your boo already for a long time?
Yeah, which if you get to spend time together right now, you've probably been together for a while.
Yeah. So we tend to him and I, we like a lot of any movies that deal with drugs and guns, action. We're both huge on action films, so
that's cool.
I know. Narcos. Did you ever watch Narcos on Netflix? It's a TV show.
I've wanted to, but I haven't yet.
It's pretty good. You should watch.
I've heard good things.
We're obsessed with that show.
Okay.
Obsessed. So we watched all 5 seasons already.
Wow.
Yeah. But
as Owen Wilson would say, wow.
Wow. There we go. But Snowpiercer. So you need to read them the synopsis.
Yeah, okay, so the synopsis is set in 2031. That was funny.
That's not that far.
2031, the entire world is frozen except for those aboard the Snowpiercer. For 17 years, the world's survivors are on a train hurtling around the globe, creating their own economy and class system. Led by Curtis, played by Chris Evans, a group of lower-class citizens living in squalor at the back of the train are determined to get to the front of the train and spread the wealth around. Each section of the train holds new surprises for the group who have to battle their way through. A revolution is underway. It's not a very good synopsis. Doesn't really effectively capture everything that's in the movie, but it gives the basics. Basically,
right. It's more like a storyline, very general storyline, what's going to happen. I did just watch this movie this morning because you recommended it to me, and I'm like, I saw Chris Evans. I'm like, I'm watch. Okay.
Oh yeah.
I love Chris Evans.
He's great.
I liked the movie a lot, actually. A lot. I was like, I didn't know what was going to happen. I feel like there was a lot of like unexpected.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't want to mention it because I don't want to ruin it.
There's a twist. It's got an M. Night Shyamalan-esque twist. Actually, it's got a Parasite-esque twist because it's Bong Joon-ho.
Mm-hmm.
The twist in this movie is much more satisfying than the one in Parasite, in my opinion.
Really? Is the twist the end? Because I hated the ending. I was like, I want to know more.
Yeah, the ending in this film definitely leaves you wanting for a little bit more.
Yeah.
And it definitely kind of comes as a surprise. Like, it doesn't feel like that's how it's supposed to end. But no, I mean like the twist right before the ending.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I definitely appreciated that particular thing. And I thought they did a really good job of like kind of hiding it, but also kind of foreshadowing it. Like if you're kind of like guessing as you, like if you're just watching it to watch it and enjoy it, then it's not that obvious. But if you're watching it to like analyze it, then you're probably going to be able to guess the ending.
See, but I don't like watching movies with people who try to analyze, like, because I watch movies to enjoy. Like, I want to be surprised. So when actually my boyfriend's like this. He analyzes a lot. So like, he'll be like, we'll watch something in the beginning. He's like, I guarantee you this person is going to kill that, or like that person's going to do this. And it's like, shut up. Like, I'm not even thinking that. Like, I just want to like be surprised and enjoy the film. So I watch this by myself, so no one can like ruin it for me. But no, I really liked it. I think it also displayed, classism. We have the top 1% in the front, and then like the middle, and then like the lower class.
Yep.
So, which, I mean, it depicts pretty much, society. It is what it is. But I just like the storyline. I think the action scenes are great as well. Mm-hmm. There was this one scene that made me crack up. Like, I had to pause my computer because I was laughing so hard. And I'll just say it because it doesn't ruin anything. Yeah. So I don't know if you remember. I don't know how long ago you watched.
I watched it on Sunday, so I'll remember.
Okay. When she like took out her teeth.
Yeah.
And started talking. I don't know why that made me laugh, because there was like no point.
That was a very Bong Joon-ho thing for her to do. Like, right. That was clearly a director's choice.
Okay, because there was no point in that. Like, she just like took out like.
Well, one of Bong Joon-ho's things is that like everybody ultimately is equal, so like everybody is just as disgusting as everybody else, and so but also she's like trying to get down on their level. But again, like that's a director's choice thing. Like, like this movie, if you'd watched Parasite, you'd be like, oh yeah, these are definitely the same producer, or same director. Yeah. Cause they are. This movie is like, the sci-fi version of Parasite, if I had to be honest. Like, I enjoyed this movie more than Parasite.
I still need to watch Parasite.
Yeah, Parasite's good. It's definitely worth watching. And like artistically for the sake of art's sake, it is superior to this film. But as far as like enjoyment while watching a film, I would rather watch Snowpiercer, if I was just saying to.
How did you come across Snowpiercer? Like, did someone recommend it to you?
I've heard about it a bunch of times, and I was just kind of looking into like different movies by good directors that were on Netflix, and I realized that this was directed by Bong Joon-ho, and I was like, okay, well, I didn't like Parasite, so I should check out something else that he did and see if I like it. So that was how I got led to this particular film.
No, I'm glad you recommended this. I think it's a great film for people to watch, especially right now. I feel like all like disaster movies and dystopian movies are popular right now, just because the time we're living in right now. So
and we're reducing our pollution pretty drastically. So who knows? Maybe we'll get a little bit of recovery from the environment because of it. Yeah. And then Ed Harris is in this, which is super fun. Ed Harris plays in Westworld. He's a good actor. And technically, this is a comic book movie. It's based off of a graphic novel from France.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So Chris Evans seems to always play in comic book movies because he's in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World as well. He's Captain America. Yeah. He was Johnny Flash in the original.
I know. He's like in a lot of.
He's in a ton of comic book.
Yeah.
It's because he's got that chin, He's got that like chin and the shoulders. Like, he looks like a superhero.
He does. He does. So. And Octavia Spencer is also in this movie. She's the one with, I'm trying to give it away, but not give it away. She's one of the low class. She's friends with the main character.
Oh, okay.
With the son.
Yeah.
So Octavia Spencer, she's also like a really popular actress. She's in The Help. She's in a lot of like.
Oh, that's her.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Yeah, she's in The Help.
Yes.
She's in a lot of films. So Octavia Spencer is also in this movie. So I think it's also a great cast.
Yeah.
I think the acting's A1. So the only thing is just the ending. Yeah. I just hated the ending. I was like,
which is fine.
I wasn't expecting it, but again, it's probably how you said director's choice.
Yeah.
With all the unexpected turns and twists.
Yeah.
So I definitely, if you are a Netflix user, which everybody on this planet should be right now, you need to watch Snowpiercer. I think it's out of all like the dystopian movies and disaster movies we've talked about, this one's my favorite.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So cool. I'm a fan.
Okay. Well, we're going to move on to my next pick, which is this is where my Quaren-cuddle picks start.
These are more Quaren-cuddle.
Quaren-cuddle movies. So get your boo, get your bae, bring him or her or whatever.
Or they.
Yeah, whichever they prefer to identify as, and cuddle up. The first one that I'm recommending is a comedy, because who doesn't love to cuddle and watch a good comedy and laugh together? The movie is The Other Guys, which was released in 2010. It stars Marky Mark Wahlberg. Marky Mark is from Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. Mark Wahlberg is Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. So
really?
like that song from the 90s is like Good Vibrations. I've said this on this podcast before.
I don't know. I
Mark
don't
Wahlberg
remember.
is Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
I didn't know.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so Marky Mark and Will Ferrell. It's directed by Adam McKay, who more recently did The Big Short. And the synopsis of the film is Terry Holt's past mistakes in the line of duty and Alan Gamble's reluctance to take risks. Terry Holtz, played by Mark Wahlberg, Alan Gamble, played by Will Ferrell, have landed them the roles of the other guys, disgraced New York City police detectives relegated to filling out paperwork for cocky hero cops Danson and Highsmith. The mismatched duo must look past their differences when they take on a high-profile investigation of shady capitalist David Ershon and attempt to fill the shoes of the notoriously reckless officers they idolize.
You forgot to mention Dwayne Johnson's in this.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Samuel L. Jackson are both in this. Yeah. Oh, they're great. They play the hero cops.
The hero cops.
Yes.
No, I think it's a great cast too. I was able to watch the trailer. And even just the trailer, like, I was, like, giggling.
Oh, yeah. The movie's great.
Yeah. No, it is on Netflix, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I saw the preview, or, like, the mini preview. And I'm definitely going to watch this. I'm a fan of Will Ferrell.
This is actually his second highest grossing film after Elf.
What?
Yeah. And, like, what's hilarious, a lot of people haven't heard of it.
No,
like,
I haven't.
Tons and tons of people have not heard of this movie. Like a lot of my friends who are like really into film and stuff, I'll be
even
like, "Have
more
you
than
seen Other
Step Brothers?"
Even more than Step Brothers, which is normally like the go-to Will Ferrell classic.
Right.
I've never even seen Step Brothers.
I saw it once when I was way too young, so I think I need to rewatch it again now that I'm older.
Yeah.
The Other Guys, I need to watch it.
It's narrated by Ice-T.
Is it?
It is.
That's so funny.
Yeah, which is great.
Okay, so do you already watch this movie, or you want to?
I've seen it a couple times.
Okay.
I really enjoy it.
You do?
Oh, absolutely. And like, I would totally. This is like the level of funny that 21 Jump Street is.
21 Jump Street is pretty funny.
21 Jump Street is hilarious.
Yeah.
I love 21 Jump Street.
They don't have it on Netflix.
No, of course not. It's too good.
They need to get it together.
Yeah, I know. Netflix has like all of the like the best B-sides is what I would describe Netflix as.
The best B-sides.
It's definitely got a lot of good films, but none of like the most amazing ones. Anyway, but yeah, so Other Guys is really good. I really enjoy it. Cuddle up with your boo and watch The Other Guys, in my opinion. And real quick, I'm pretty sure this is on YouTube, but Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell made an appearance on WWE Raw to promote this
they
movie.
didn't.
They did. They really did. Which is just super awesome. There's just so many cool, like going through the like, did you know things on IMDb on this movie. There's just so many funny things that happen.
Oh, I bet. I bet.
Yeah. It's hilarious. So, I have one more pick, but we'll get to that right after we take a quick commercial break.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Okay, we did
Woo!
it.
There we go. I had to like chime in on there, so I felt like my foot tapping. So I was like, "Here we go." I'm feeling
so
the beat
proud
right
of
now.
us. We've never been able to do that before.
No, we haven't.
So, welcome back to the podcast.
The movie podcast.
Yeah, the movie podcast. Right before we left, we were talking about The Other Guys, saying that you should watch it with your boo. Now I got a cute, kind of like rom-com-y action movie.
Another
thing.
Quaren-cuddle film.
It's a Quaren-cuddle film. It's super quirky. I love it.
I was going to say it's super quirky.
So it's a film directed by Edgar Wright called Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. It was also released in 2010, which is hilarious to me that I accidentally picked two movies released the same year. And then I also picked two movies that have Chris Evans in them, because Chris Evans is in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. He's one of the evil exes.
I know. I saw in the trailer.
I wasn't sure if he was in the trailer. Edgar Wright, by the way, also directed Shaun of the Dead and Baby Driver, as well as World's End Pub, I think is what it's called, which is a disaster movie that I think is on Netflix or YouTube or something. My friends want to watch it at some point in the near future, so we'll do a little watch party and watch that, because it's an end-of-the-world flick. So, But it stars Michael Cera, before Michael Cera got to be big and Michael Cera-y.
Was that before Juno?
I don't think so. I think Juno came out when I was in high school.
Because when I think of Michael Cera, I think of Juno.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure when that movie came out.
You're the cheese to my macaroni. It's the cutest line.
See,
that movie was so sweet.
I know. Juno is so sweet. When I think, or when I was watching the trailer for Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, I thought of Juno.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Michael Cera tends to play characters that are like kind of weird, quirky. Mm-hmm. That's just his thing.
Oh my gosh. When he's in James Franco's movie, This Is the End.
I think I've seen that.
Oh, it is the way that he plays himself. He plays himself, and it is hilarious. Mm-hmm. Oh, that movie is so heinously bad.
Heinously? Is it a trash film?
No. It's not a trash film. It's incredible, but the comedy is just so irreverent that like there's people who probably think that the devil himself would have directed that film, because it's about the second coming of it's about the revelation. So it's about people getting pulled up to heaven and like all the people that are left behind. And it's really funny. So
I feel like I might have watched it with Dave Franco. Maybe.
I don't know if it has Dave Franco. I know it's got James Franco.
Or James, yeah.
Yeah, it definitely has James Franco in it. So, but no, I really, really enjoyed that. But anyway, so back to Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Here's the synopsis. Scott Pilgrim plays in a band which aspires to success. He dates Knives Chow, a high school girl 5 years younger. And he hasn't recovered from being dumped by his former girlfriend, now a success with her own band. When Scott falls for Ramona Flowers, he has trouble breaking up with Knives and tries to romance Ramona. As if juggling two women wasn't enough, Ramona comes with baggage, 7 ex-lovers, with each of whom Scott must do battle to the death in order to win Ramona.
Is this like a game? Like a video game?
Yeah, so there definitely is very like gamified. Okay, because that's why
I was a little confused when the trailer, because I wasn't sure if the special effects were part of the movie or if it was like just part of the trailer.
No, they definitely try to make it look like a video game the whole way through, which is super fun, because like Scott Pilgrim vs. the World did get a video game that I'm not sure if it was based off the movie or not, but it was pretty good. And this actually is based off of a comic book. So another graphic novel film. I accidentally picked 2 this week. It it's from Canada. It's a Canadian author who wrote it. And apparently the graphic novel is much better than the movie, and it's a lot longer. So, we'll see if you should check that out. Definitely let us know in the comments if you read it. But, I really, really like this film. I've watched it a bunch of times. It's super fun.
You said before that a lot of guys tend to like Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Why is that?
I think that okay, so a lot of guys like this movie because there's a bunch of different like archetypes of the people so the way that like when you and your boyfriend got together, you envisioned a certain narrative about his ex-girlfriends, right? Maybe at least a little bit. Like this one's that girl and this one's that girl, that type of a thing. So like it kind of does that, but for dudes. So like when I date a girl, it's like, okay, well she's probably got like at least these two different kinds of ex-boyfriends. And like one's the jerky skateboard guy and one's the nerdy dude. And like it's just very all like archetypal, which I super enjoy because I think it's like it just feels very universal and relatable. And then there's like action scenes, and it's also got like a lot of movies don't do self-worth very well, and that's one of the main themes in this film. And because it's a guy main character, I think it just makes it relatable for dudes. And not to say that it isn't relatable to everybody. It's just that because it's a guy and humans naturally have a proclivity to, like things that they're familiar with. Right. Guys are familiar with guys, so it makes sense.
Okay. I was just wondering because before the break or before we started the podcast, you said a lot of dudes tend to like really like the film. Yeah, not that girls can't like it. I think the film's like quirky.
The last girl I watched it with loved it. So it's super fun. It's
definitely interesting. It is on Netflix too. I'm gonna watch all these because, like I said, I have all the time in the world right now.
You do.
So I got time.
And before we move on to your pick, I just want to mention the band that they play in could actually play songs together, and Michael Cera had to dumb down his bass playing so that
to like match them?
Yeah, to match them because they had just learned their instruments, but Michael Cera's been playing bass for years.
Oh, I didn't know he actually like played.
Yeah. So now the band actually could play songs together, which is cool. And the soundtrack to this movie is actually also really good. They have a song called Black Sheep.
Black Sheep
by the band Metro, and it's super fun. So anyway, that's that. Those are my picks.
Okay, so those are the Quaren-cuddle. Okay, guys, so I'm gonna be kind of disappointing because these two, like I said, like these movies that I'm going to mention.
They were summer blockbusters.
They were.
Oh, one of them was not, but.
Right. One wasn't, but I just watched them just because I like just had a chance. Like Gemini Man. Okay, that's the first one. I won't jump around. Gemini Man. This movie's not on Netflix. My brother did illegally download it online, so that is how I was able to watch it. Do not come at me, feds. Do not come at me if you're listening. So Gemini Man, this was released October of 2019, and the synopsis goes, a retiring assassin, Henry Brogan, which is played by Will Smith, finds himself pursued by a mysterious killer that can predict his every move. Discovering that he's being hunted by a younger clone of himself, Henry needs to find out why he's being targeted and who the creator is. So again, I don't think the synopsis really details the plot or the storyline well, but that's the best I can find. Okay. And the director of the film is Ange Lee. Producer is Jerry Bruckheimer. And writers are David Benioff. Billy Ray. Not Billy Ray Cyrus.
Yeah.
Just Billy Ray.
Of 1990s domestic violence fame.
What?
Oh, you didn't know?
No.
Billy Ray Cyrus, the reason that he stopped being famous in the early 90s and the reason that his daughter was the way that he was able to gain fame again was because he absolutely assaulted his wife.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, so that's fun.
Not good.
Yeah.
But he did not write Gemini Man.
That's okay.
But that's an interesting fact.
He did just get a bunch of awards for a song because the people who are into that song are all too young to remember the fact that he's a domestic violence guy. But whatever, hey, it's just okay. We'll keep on being upset about other people. Honestly, here's the deal with that. Until Louis C.K. is allowed to perform again, I will be upset every time somebody else isn't held accountable for
their actions.
Yeah, their actions. Yeah. Which is just ridiculous to me.
Especially celebrities kind of always get like a little pass.
Certain celebrities get a pass.
Yeah,
which is the part that bothers me.
Yeah.
So anyway, regardless, we don't talk about politics on this podcast. Don't at me in the comments. I'm allowed to express my opinion. It's just an opinion. So.
And the last writer is also Darren Lemke.
No idea who that is.
Me neither. But the producer, Jerry Bruckheimer, he also produced Bad Boys for Life, Bad Boys 2, and some of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. One of them being Dead Men Tell No Tales, and 2 other Pirates of the Caribbean movies. I forgot the names of those. Cast includes Will Smith, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Clive Owen, Benedict Wong, and others. But you guys...
Wait, did you catch that?
What?
Mary Elizabeth Winstead. She was also in Scott Pilgrim.
Was she? Oh, she is.
Yeah, she plays Ramona Flowers.
She is.
Yeah, so she's in both of those movies.
Okay, that was like without even trying.
No, and what's funny is when I was looking up, I looked at her, I was like, wait, she was in Gemini Man? What the heck?
Yeah, she's like the main character with Will Smith.
Good for her.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
I know. So, I will say, like, there weren't too many familiar faces in Gemini Man. Like, Will Smith was the only actor that you're like, oh, like, you know Will Smith, but like the other ones are kind of like, who is that? Because honestly, I didn't know who Mary Elizabeth was until this film, but she did great. But I will say I'm pretty disappointed with this film. I was completely let down by it just because, again, I'm a huge fan of Will Smith. Yeah. I saw a lot of promo for Gemini Man last year, so I assume like,
it got advertised a ton.
Right, a lot. So I was like, oh, it's going to be a great film. Like, I had all these expectations, but I watched this movie with my brother, and we both were so confused the entire movie. Like, I don't think the writers did... Because I'm assuming it's that's why I included the writers in the notes. It was just very hard to follow. You didn't know who was the villain. You didn't know what their motives were. Like, it just wasn't like thoroughly explained. It was just like straight action. And you're like we couldn't even enjoy the action scenes because we had no idea what was going on, what was the purpose, like who are we supposed to root for, Yeah. And yeah, I just also think the cloning part like was unnecessary. Yeah. Because he didn't have like a really big role in the story. Like there could be no clone and like everything would be the same. So like I feel like the clone was kind of played out, and I don't know. I was just really disappointed, and I was reading other
the trailer looks like trash, honestly. Like
I haven't watched. I didn't watch the trailer.
No, I am not. Like I was watching the trailer and I was like, why is this movie even a thing?
Yeah,
like it just looked like a straight to TV movie. Like it just did not look good.
Yeah, no, I was so disappointed. My brother was too, and apparently the movie flopped in the box office, so it was taken out earlier than usual. Their budget was, I know, their budget was around $140,000, and they only made $50,000 in the U.S. and $170,000 worldwide, which is like nothing.
Yeah, especially for an action movie. Yeah.
So that was, but like I'm not surprised because the movie wasn't that interesting. I was just like, hey, the action scenes were good, but like you were lost from start to end. And I was reading other reviews from other movie, or not critic reviews, but just other people who have seen the movie, and they all said the similar thing, that like, you just don't understand what's going on. And yeah, I was just not impressed. I'm sorry that I included it in this episode, but that's like that's what I watched, in this past week of quarantine.
Okay, well then what was the other thing that you watched, since we don't want to talk about Gemini Man anymore? Don't watch it. It was waste.
Yeah,
I'm
sorry.
Any money on it.
If you guys love Will Smith, watch Bad Boys for Life. Do not watch Gemini Man. Okay, so then my next film, there's another like disaster film. Some of you may be familiar with it already. It is 2012.
A Space Odyssey.
What? What did you say?
No, 2012 is just it's just the year 2012, because if everybody remembers, in 2012 the Mayan calendar or the Aztec calendar was supposed to expire, so it predicted the end of the world, and it was really just that they got tired of doing math.
Yeah. That's literally it. It didn't predict like the end of the world.
Nope.
So it's actually currently rated at top 10 in Netflix, and I think it's only top 10 because, again, the pandemic we're in right now.
Yeah, end of the world stuff.
So I'll read you guys a synopsis just for those who haven't seen the movie. Dr. Adrian Hemsley, part of a worldwide geophysical team investigating the effect on the Earth of radiation from unprecedented solar storms, learns that the Earth's core is heating up. He warns U.S. President Thomas Wilson that the crust of the earth is becoming unstable and that without proper preparations for saving a fraction of the world's population, the entire race is doomed. Meanwhile, writer Jackson Curtis stumbles on the same information while the world's leaders race to build arks to escape the impending cataclysm.
Yeah.
Curtis struggles to find a way to save his family.
Wait, the main character's name is also Curtis in this one?
Jackson Curtis.
Oh, okay.
But I think, I'm just reading what the synopsis is.
Yeah.
So Jackson Curtis struggles to find a way to save his family. Meanwhile, volcanic eruptions and earthquakes of unprecedented strength wreak havoc around the world. So basically the world's ending. If you watch the trailer, you can see all the main scenes, like buildings are falling and everything's collapsing.
Yeah.
This was directed and written by Roland Emmerich and Harold Closer. Cast includes John Cusack, Thandie Newton, Chiwetel Ejiofor. I don't know. Amanda P. I'm pretty sure that's a Nigerian name.
Yeah.
I'm almost positive. Amanda Peet, Danny Glover, and Oliver Platt. So those are the main characters of the movie.
Nice.
And have you seen 2012?
Yeah, it's not that great, but whatever.
Yeah. I think the best scenes were like the buildings collapsing.
Yeah.
All of that, like the action.
It's like a standard end of the world movie.
Right.
There's nothing exciting about it. It doesn't do anything unique. The cinematography
not like
is not amazing.
Snowpiercer. Like if you're going to watch a disaster film between 2012 or Snowpiercer, pick Snowpiercer. But I do want to list just a couple interesting facts about the movie. So the film was banned in North Korea because 2012 marks the 100th anniversary of the birth of first great leader Two Sung Kim. Several people were arrested for watching pirated copies of the film.
Hey, welcome to North Korea.
Right.
Yeah.
And
that's
then,
unfortunate.
And then the second interesting fact about the movie, the main character, Jackson Curtis, is the real name of 50 Cent, rapper 50 Cent. His name is Curtis Jackson backwards. And the executive producer, co-writer, and director, Roland Emmerich, he's a big fan of hip-hop artist 50 Cent and wanted to name his lead character after him.
That's hilarious.
Which I thought, I'm like, how like random is that? Like, hey, let me like name you after like my favorite hip-hop artist. So
who doesn't like 50 Cent?
Actually, if you're speaking about domestic violence, he's got a few on him.
Does he really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't.
Or like assaults, yeah. Like I've seen a few of those. I do entertainment, so I was like, I always got to figure this out.
Gross.
It is pretty gross.
Yeah.
And okay, last
don't hit
one.
People you love. I don't understand.
Right. Or people that you just don't hit people. Period.
That's probably a better way to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Just don't hit people.
Yeah.
And then so Seth Rogen, he turned down the role of Adrian Hemsley. So Adrian Hemsley, he was like the doctor.
I just can't imagine Seth Rogen playing anything serious. That would be hilarious.
Me neither. Because when I think of Seth Rogen, I think of Pineapple Express.
Yes.
Immediately.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, that might have actually been, I want to watch Pineapple Express. It might be on Netflix.
I doubt it.
No? I feel like
Netflix.
It's in like an older-ish movie. So I feel like Netflix puts movies that are like, I feel like 10 years or older. Or 7.
Maybe. I don't know. I definitely, I'm
going to check when I get
Express.
home.
You should, yeah.
Yeah. And
anyway.
I think that's going to wrap up mine weren't so like Quaren-cuddle-y like Keith's, but those are, I guess, were like the quarantine movies that I've been watching.
Yeah.
Hopefully next week my picks could be better.
Next week we'll do Quaren. I don't know. We'll come up with another pun.
Right. You will come up with another pun because I'm not good at those. But I think that's going to wrap up today's episode, you guys. So again, the movies we recommend or just the movies that we watch.
Snowpiercer.
For sure, Snowpiercer.
Other guys. Mm-hmm. Wait, what were you going to say?
No, I said if you're going to watch any movie from our list today, I would say Snowpiercer.
I'm glad that you liked it so much.
It, yes.
Yeah, Snowpiercer, Other Guys, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, which would be the one that I think you should watch the most out of all the movies that are recommended here. Gemini Man and 2012.
Well, Gemini Man should be like the last on your list.
Yeah, honestly, just pretend we never talked about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Be better off.
Right.
Also, in case anyone was super into trash film, I just watched The Room the other day, and the entire movie is available on YouTube, and it was uploaded by the guy who made it. So
what?
It's totally legal.
Okay.
Yeah, so watch The Room if you're into trash film. It's like the classic quintessential trash film, so it's definitely worth a watch. There we go. So, yeah, definitely give us a like, give us a subscribe, follow us on the Twitter.
Share.
5-star review. Comment. Yeah, all of that jazz. Mm-hmm. So, thank you again for joining us this week, guys. Make sure you stay safe out there and follow the rules that your local ordinances have put in place so that we can all get back to normal as soon as possible. Please.
Yeah, stay safe, stay clean, wash your hands, keep your distance. Mm-hmm. Remember, it's a Keith away.
A Keith away.
A Keith away.
Alrighty, guys. Have a good week.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Movie Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.